Hello students, welcome back. So on video number 1, I went ahead and I started tracing over my image, the one that was on clip art. I played around with the opacity. That was that. And I started tracing everything. It took me like 15 to 20 minutes to trace everything, so it shouldn't take you that long. Same thing as if you are doing step number 2 on your traditional art supplies on your sketchbook. Remember, don't take too long drawing your features or your objects. Take 10 to 15 minutes and quickly sketch. The weirder and out of proportion everything is, the better. So right now we are going to go ahead and move to step number 3. So if you're doing this with traditional art supplies, again, just go ahead, get either a black marker, a pen, or as you saw me do in class, just keep doing it with the pencil and keep going over and over and over again on the top of the lines to make bold, dark lines to add contrast. Now, if you look at the digital sketchpad that I have here, I started using mostly the width of 3 points. I'm going to go ahead and change it to 10. I don't know if that's too drastic, y'all, but I'm going to go ahead and get started. So all of the shapes that I am somewhat satisfied with, I'm going to go ahead and continue making them a little bit bolder. Now, if you want to get even more bold, you can. You do not have to stick to the original lines that you have here. You can go ahead and create new lines. I don't know if you could see what I'm doing, but I have different thicknesses now. I'm going to go ahead and add another one right over here, right over here, right over here. And as you can see, I am redoing step number 3 on the digital sketchpad, but I'm using thicker lines, wider lines, just to play around, just to have a little bit more of a variety, and just to have more contrast. So I'm going to leave it right there. If I want to keep playing around with contrast, I'm going to go ahead, go even deeper by adding, should I go with 20? I don't know. I want you guys to play around with this though. I don't want you to limit yourselves. See how thick that is? Where else? Where else? Right here, the PS4 controller. So I'm just going to leave it as is. As soon as you guys get to step number 3, just remember, especially if you're doing this with traditional art supplies, with the black marker, pen, or color pencil, outline the shapes you feel happy with, the ones you feel very satisfied with. And I'm going to go ahead, close this down, and I'm going to focus on my digital piece now. So the first thing that I want you all to do is the following. I want you to get the fill into it. And remember, we are not going to get the vector fill. We're going to get the pixel fill. And I'm going to keep adding contrast. So step number 4 is a combination of filling in the shapes, adding dark, bold, contrasty lines. What I like to do, the places where I like to add the most contrast are the tiny little shapes. So maybe right here. If you pay attention to Picasso's Cubist paintings, there's always areas with a lot of contrast. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and start doing right now. I'm going to start adding contrast in some areas. I'm going to be bold. Am I going to do this everywhere? Nope. I'm only going to do this on some areas. This is supposed to be a portrait of my dad. He has black hair, but I'm not going to do the whole hair black. I'm just going to do some areas. My mom's hair. Notice how I gave everyone dark hair. Right here, you can't even see the hair, only one of them. Everyone else, I didn't even bother to do the details, and that is totally fine. So notice how as soon as I start filling in the shapes, I start to lose some of the details on the buttons on the controller. I start to lose a few things, and that is the whole purpose of this. Every time Picasso paints the woman, he never uses the skin tones. He never uses the really precise colors of the hair, the skin, the eyes. No, he uses bright colors to let the viewer know that when you work with Cubism, you do not have to be super precise, super specific, super detailed. Look at this. You can kind of see that these are the buttons, but not exactly. And this is what happens when you don't close your lines. Notice how I had a little gap right there. And if I don't close it, click on it 2 times. Wait, what did I do? Huh. Remember when you want to get rid of a line, just make sure you double click on the line. Whenever that little line appears, just click on it and then just delete it. I'm going to go ahead and close this. Add the fill-in tool. Didn't want to shade, that's totally fine. And I feel like that's enough contrast. If you want to go ahead and start adding the border, remember, all you have to do is add a square. Make sure that the fill is at 0%, the outline is at 100%, and the width, just remember the width, you should do it like at a 20 to 30 points. Oh, this is way too big. So I'm going to make it smaller. I'm going to drag it. Make sure you rotate it. Make sure it's straight. Click the select tool. You want to make it even thinner, you can. I actually feel like I made it a little bit too thick. And there you have it. So step 2, draw the entire figures or the features, or whatever it is you choose to make. Step number 3, start adding dark, bold lines. And step number 4 is to start filling in some shapes with really dark colors, or just with black and your border.